So I've made a lot of progress on the custom Voron V0, but I need to decide final placements for the electronics. Currently, I'm thinking that my Raspberry Pi is going to be mounted over here with the ports facing outward so that I can still access them and plug stuff in, which is important. For power supplies, the 48 volt is going to sit on this side, a little bit further to the left, just about there. And then the 48 volt is going to be on the opposite side. The reason that it's going to be like that is specifically because the Kraken board is going to be mounted like this, and I want to have the shortest possible run of 48 volt wiring to the board, specifically just to minimize the amount of high voltage that I have running through the frame and reduce the chances of having cabling issues. So, plan is that this is going to be mounted somewhere about down here. I haven't decided fully if it's going to have like a proper cover or not, but it will sit here for sure. Above that, we're going to put two of these 8010 fans to cool the motors and just get some airflow going in there. It's also going to cool the Raspberry Pi. Yeah, that's the majority of the electronics. I already have all of the wiring, or the majority of the wiring set for the CPAP fan, and I managed to route it up in a way that I at least like and seems good. I haven't cut it to size yet, but I'll do that eventually. The Toolhead is still not totally finalized. I want to change a handful of things on it, but it's taking some more time than I expected because the design is complex and it has a lot of limitations. And I'm wondering if I should just not use the Voron V0 X carriage and just have my Toolhead mount directly to the linear rail. Let's spin this around so you guys can see a little bit better. Yeah, this is a much better view of the Toolhead. So this is the Toolhead as it stands now. This is printed in 4 pieces and then takes 3 heated inserts to put it together and another 3 heated inserts to mount the crown cooler CPAP cooling system. It's going to take a 2510 fan here on the front. Currently, I don't have one of those on hand. I believe it's arriving tomorrow. I do have 3010 fans, but I wasn't planning on using that. I got the build plate mounted in the meantime, and I got the heating pad on the bottom. It's a 75 watt unit from, I want to say Physek or maybe Sidewar, I don't remember right now. Yeah, but the wiring is all just kind of loose down here. I'm not going to get a cable chain for this printer, mostly because I can't be bothered. I might print one at some point, but it's very low on the priority list. This aluminum bar is going to go up here to help add some rigidity to the frame. And I'm also going to use it to mount this little camera. I'm going to mount on the front linear rail, the front aluminum extrusion. Thing on the bottom, just facing the printer. It'll be nice to be able to see what's going on inside. I also need to put there's only 3 aluminum extrusions left to mount. The 2 top ones and the front one. Making good progress. The main thing that I'm hesitant about is my hot end mount. I just don't really know if it's good enough, if it's going to work properly, and I need to make it a little bit thicker because I've found out that I only have like 10mm screws in this size. And I don't think this hot end came with screws. Or if it did, I simply lost them. Because I cannot find them anywhere. But that is the update for now. And I'll get back to you guys when I have some more progress. So I, once again, did not do a great job filming, but I did film the hula feet being built and installed. So I have hula feet for the new V0 to match all of my other printers, which also have hula feet. I've started working on the power supply wiring side. So I have the AC sides down here, down there. I already put a cover on the 24-volt power supply. The covers had a massive layer shift while printing, so they are definitely not pretty, but they are still functional, which is most of what I need from these, because these are just to protect me from electrocuting myself. And right now, the AWD over there is printing the covers for the 48-volt power supply. And then this cable channel is going to have a little cover on it so that the high voltage that's going to the motherboard is protected and everything like that. I also installed a camera on the front. It's just a little random USB webcam from a laptop that I got on AliExpress. And then I'm using, I think it's called the Angry Cam mount that I found online, and it seems to be working out pretty well. I had to modify a little bit to fit on a 1515 rail, but nothing too difficult. Over here, well, that's a bit ugly. Thanks, AWD. I was just about to show off how nicely you've been printing. Yeah, the AWD's been pretty solid for printing parts for the new Voron V0. Realistically, some of the larger parts were only ever going to be printed on the AWD. Like the back panel here, for the fan mounts. This is in 2 pieces, so I've already mounted the right half. The left half I need to print still. But having, I mean, it should be fine with that error. I don't really care at this point. I believe that is the bottom mount. Yeah. I could just cancel that object and reprint it. In the meantime, the main V0 is down as I need to get a new heater cartridge. I emailed Drop Effect support and asked them how many watts their cartridge heater normally is. And they said that it's close to 90 watts, or it's about 90 watts. I don't really know why they didn't give a specific number, but it doesn't really matter. I was able to find a 100 watt Bamboo Lab P1S heater cartridge, which claims to be 100 watts. So hopefully that is enough for the Drop Effect NextG fiber hot end to be happy. Otherwise, I am not entirely sure what the solution to that is going to be. I'm going to cancel the left object. This is going to drive me insane. It just has a random hole in it. There we go. Alright. So, left object is canceled. Shouldn't print it anymore, but it will do the right object. Yeah. I think that's the majority of the update for today. On the little to-do list, we do have technically 1/2 of this done. A Kraken mount up here is done. And then over here, PSU covers are designed. The front motor fan coolers, I still don't have a design for. Side and bottom panels I don't have a design for. And the hot end V2 I also don't have a design for. The hot end V2 I can only print once the V0.2 is back up and running. I really need to get nicknames for my printers. They have really long names. But yeah, I do have the old version of the hot end. That's the cooling duct. I don't remember what the actual hot end mount is right now. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so this works theoretically, but it's definitely not perfect. And there are quite a few things I would like to adjust. So hopefully I can get that printer running soon so I can get to prototyping that hot end mount some more and any other high temp things that I'm gonna need for this printer. I need to stick the magnetic sheet on. So yeah. But that's the update for now. Oh, I also mounted the Big Tree Tech Pi that I got for this printer. It's squeezed in right there. I'm pretty happy with how it's fitting. I already plugged in the camera cable. That's the only one I've plugged in so far. Yeah. So I actually did a better job of filming today. I got a good time lapse of the progress I was making. But basically, I started wiring up the motherboard, and then I realized that I'm going to have to take it out because I didn't attach the wires for the stepper motors up here. This build is definitely not designed to be easy to put together. Something to note for my next one, I guess. And I started putting these heat sinks on the front stepper motors. They're also going to go on the back stepper motors. I just can't access them right now. And I'm also putting some thermal probes on the back of the heat sinks so that I can get some idea of the motor temperature. It's not going to be as good as the stepper motors that have built-in temperature sensors, but it's better than having nothing. So that I know if I need to set up active cooling for the front ones, and for the back ones, these fans can then be controlled by those temperatures. I also got this 4020 fan to cool the drivers. I'm not sure if that's going to be sufficient or not. If it's not sufficient, then I will come up with a different solution. But for now, I was able to find some printables and it saves me a bunch of time. So I went with that. And yeah, that's the update for right now. I am going to have to cut the connector off of these wires because the Big Tree Tech Kraken board I'm using for the 4 most powerful stepper motors, it uses these massive connectors. So I'm going to cut this DuPont connector off and crimp on the connectors for this one and go from there. The idea is that this is going to be X1 or A1, B1, A2, B2. And then here we're going to have the Z motor and then the extruder. And I'll have 2 left over for whatever I want to do. Probably nothing. But yeah, that's the plan there. Down here we have the CPAP fan on the far left, then the 2 back panel fans. And I still have 3 fan slots left. One of them is going to end up being for the hot end fan, and the other 2 I haven't decided yet. But one of them is going to have to control this fan. I might swap these 2 to be on a single plug using a splitter that I have somewhere lying around. Yeah, that's the plan for right now. And yeah, making good progress, slow but steady. I got the wires for the 48-volt power supply set up. I went with 14 gauge wire, which is totally overkill, but better safe than sorry. And yeah. I really should have designed this back panel to be more accessible, but not much I can do about that right now. So we're just gonna have to leave it how it is. And I need to put an SD card in the Big Tree Tech Pi before I forget. Because if I forget that, then I'm going to have to disassemble the whole thing to reach that little tiny SD card slot. I also need to decide if I want to have any form of side panels or if I want to have like bottom panel. Originally I was thinking no, but now I'm not so sure. And I was looking at designs for possibly actively cooling these, but if I'm going to actively cool them, I want to use one of these 8010 fans I have, because like that it will be relatively quiet and can still move a good amount of air. Not that any part of this printer will be quiet, but relatively speaking. And I have a good amount of these fans because the alternative would probably be like blower fans maybe, but I'm not too sure how well that would work. The reason why I have a bunch of these blower fans is because the AWD Neptune 4 stock, it comes with this big like extra cooling auxiliary fan system, which is just 4 of these fans. So I barely ran that when I did have the printer stock, and then I eventually ripped it apart to pull the fans out so I could use them for other things. I'm debating whether I reprint these to have it printed nicely without this massive ugly layer shift, but I'm honestly not too bothered about it.